Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you all for your time and your testimony. General Scaparrotti, I want to talk about the potential impact of divesting in the A-10 and the impact that that's going to have on our capabilities with your mission, and then also Admiral Locklear in general in the theater. The depleted uranium on the 30 millimeter, specifically the anti-tank capabilities. I know you've shared in your testimony about how North Korea is going more towards asymmetric capabilities, but there's still a very real conventional threat, as you know. And should we, having been a part of units that were supposed to be heading your way to be reinforcements to those that are stationed right there, it's a pretty tight timeline to be able to react in a very short geographic area, as you know. So gaining and maintaining air superiority, and then making sure that we have the anti-armor capability against North Korean capabilities is really important. So if the President's budget were to, the A-10 would be divested in, you would lose the capability of the depleted uranium and the A-10 squadrons right there at Osan. What capability gap does that provide for you, and what are the plans to fill that gap in order to address this particular threat?
Thank you. As you said, the A-10 was designed for a specific capability, and it's very good at that. I have high regard for its ability to support ground troops. And in the region that I'm in, particularly a mountainous region, it also can get low and it can turn in tight spots. Having said that, I recognize, too, the Air Force's difficulty in terms of the funding and the need with an aging aircraft with reduced funds to perhaps move multi-role ship. And I've been assured that if the A-10 were to come out, there would be a multi-role aircraft that would replace that squadron on the peninsula, and I would need that. I would need additional air force.
But the F-16 doesn't have the depleted uranium or the anti-tank. I want to focus specifically on anti-tank. We're often talking about close air support in Iraq and Afghanistan and other areas where the A-10 brings unique capabilities. But if we're talking about piercing armor, an anti-tank capability that the 30 millimeter with depleted uranium brings, and the F-16s, F-15Es, they don't have that capability. So what gap does that create for you, and what do you think is going to be replacing that?
Well, I don't know on it from the Air Force. I mean, frankly, I would use air in different ways, the multi-role aircraft, and then use the systems that I have on the ground primarily against their armor threat. And so it would open a gap in terms of having that aircraft for that specific capability.
Right, and I think the last thing that we want to be doing is be relying on having to have a tank battle, right, in the day and age where we have the capabilities to, and we have the plans to be able to take out those capabilities from the air. We certainly wouldn't want to roll back that capability and have our guys on the ground having to fight that when we do actually possess the capability with the A-10. So you agree that it would create a gap?
It would, yes.
Okay, and Admiral Locklear, do you agree just in the larger plans, we've been very much focusing on near-peer, conventional potential scenarios in the future. So the close air support and the anti-tank capabilities that you would be lacking without the A-10, is that something that you think is also a gap for the greater mission that you have?
Well, it's good to have when you need it. I would say that in general in the Asia-Pacific, other than the Korea Peninsula, that the close air support mission is of a lesser concern to me in general. But as the Air Force moves forward with the systems that they have to move forward in the future, I think you're going to go towards a close air support model with airplanes that have improved precision-guided missile weapons that can go against tanks and have them.
Okay, thank you. Again, we talked about the F-35 yesterday in a separate hearing, but the munitions capabilities on the F-35 actually are not a armor penetrating capability, and survivability is in question, especially when you do get into that close fight. I mean, I agree, you've got a high-end challenge that you have to deal with for sure, and we've got to be able to meet that both with air and naval. Have men and women on the ground in harm's way in any potential scenario. We do want to make sure that obviously we can protect them with the best capability that we have. So I appreciate your responses. Thanks for your service as always, and I yield back, Mr. Chairman.